Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen here from Redolessence. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate your support. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Morreale, and this one is called Redolessence. So stay tuned. Now, before I begin the video, I do want to disclose that this bottle was sent to me for review by the company, but as always, all opinions will remain my own, but I wanted to make that transparent to my loyal subscribers. Now, this perfume came out in 2018. It is by the company Morreale Paris or Morreale Paris. The perfumer for this one is Jean-Pierre Morreale, so the company is named after the perfumer. And this company has 3 fragrances, but the 2 that you'll see, especially in promotion nowadays, are the men's counterpart, which is called Meridian or Meridian, and then the women's counterpart is called Renaissance. So I was taking a look at the note breakdown, and it does contain one ingredient that one could argue is feminine. I do find it in a lot of men's perfumes or fragrances as well, and I don't find it to be ultimately feminine, and that is the note of jasmine. So we have pineapple, jasmine, rosewood, bourbon, vanilla, some musk that I perceive in the base as well. So I'm really excited to tell you what I think of this fragrance, and if I think that this is a totally unisex fragrance, and if I would recommend it for my loyal subscribers. But let's go ahead and start things off by taking a very quick look at the presentation. The presentation for this fragrance is very classy. You have the Morreale Paris logo here in the front. The box opens up just like this to reveal a podium in which the bottle rests. On the bottom of the box is some information about the company, the perfumer, as well as the notes that are contained in the fragrance. The bottle for this fragrance is transparent, and it just has the name of the company here on the front. The Morreale logo can also be located at the top of the cap. The cap for this fragrance clicks into place very securely, so you can pick this one up from the cap. And the distribution on the atomizer is excellent. Nice white mist. Let's continue with the smell. Now, as soon as this fragrance opens up, the first thing that you'll notice about it is the combination of fruits and florals. However, I do want to say that this does not smell feminine in any way. Of course, it is a fragrance that can be worn by a woman very comfortably. And of course, I would recommend it for women out there. I do think that there is that vibe about it. But what I meant to say is that it comes across as completely unisex. So it's marketed for women. Do I entirely agree? Perhaps not. I do think that it has this abundance of fruit in the opening. And the note that's listed in here is pineapple. You do get pineapple with a combination of lemon. However, it doesn't seem like a bright, acidic, tart sort of pineapple. It's kind of muted in its appeal. And I do find that the combination of the pineapple and the lemon mesh together really, really well. What I like it is that the jasmine sort of cuts through in the middle of the fragrance. And the jasmine that's in here, I do have to say it's on the clean side. It's of the clean variety. So for those of you who don't know, jasmine can basically have a duality in perfumes. It can come across rather indolic. It can have a little bit of like a raunchy barnyard kind of a smell, or it can be one of the cleanest smells in the world. And the jasmine that you're going to find in here is of the clean variety. I know a lot of fragrances, especially on the women's side of the market, they usually have like gardenia, which is a fantasy note, by the way, gardenia and peach or apricot and jasmine. This one has just the jasmine. All of the other notes contained therein are unisex, in my humble opinion, but they do convey an overall unisex vibe. So I'm actually smelling on the test strip here that I have in front of me, and the fragrance itself is abundantly clear. I'm getting whiffs left and right, and the longevity on this one is also really good too. So I'll get to that a little bit later on in the video. Now, as this fragrance starts to dry down, you will pick up on some woody facets. My nose perceives a little bit of sandalwood, and I do say that because I pick up on a bit of sweetness in the base, and that sweetness is compounded with like a creamy, smooth, suave vibe. But you also get the bourbon vanilla and a little bit of musk that I alluded to earlier on in the review. Now, I do want to clarify, in terms of the bourbon vanilla, a lot of people think bourbon, you think of booze, you think of alcohol. There's nothing about this fragrance that smells boozy to my nose. It's more of like a smooth vanilla. Whenever I think of boozy vanilla, I think of something like Spiritu Double Vanille by Guerlain or El Born by Carner Barcelona. You're not going to get that rough around the edges, aggressive sort of a vibe. It is rather smooth and creamy in the base. It's really warm and enveloping. It's a very easy to wear scent, and it's one that I would personally recommend for both men and women. I personally would would love to smell this one on my wife, and my wife actually really enjoys this one too. And it's one that she can see herself wearing a lot in the coming seasons, especially since I think it's geared towards the hotter weather. And so she's going to be wearing it a lot this summer, especially when we leave to go on vacation later on in August to Florida. Overall, I really enjoyed this perfume. I think it's very well built, wonderfully composed. I like the various elements in it. I like that the pineapple isn't overly tart. It's not clearly defined, and you get those citrusy nuances in the base without them, of course, being acidic or anything like that. In the mid, you do have this clean vibe that sort of augments that sense of being clean, and then in the base, you have a very sort of smooth and polished vibe that the fragrance gives off. So I really do enjoy this one. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I do find this fragrance to be unique. It doesn't quite remind me of anything else that I've smelled on the market. It's one that I personally enjoy, and my wife really loves this one too. In terms of the overall smell, very accommodating, very easygoing, very mass appealing. There is nothing about this fragrance, like I said earlier, that has like a rough around the edges vibe. It's very easy to pull off, very accommodating, and I would personally recommend it. Longevity on this one has been solid. I got 7 to 8 hours on my skin when I did test it out. Projection on this one was really good for the first 2 to 2.5 hours. At like the 5.5 to 6 hour mark, it did start to sit closer to the skin, therefore becoming an intimate skin scent. And I do want to say that I don't think this ever radiated beyond an arm's length, so it has this sort of intimate bubble around it. So it's a very sort of personal, close encounter type of a perfume. In terms of the versatility, I think this one is incredibly versatile. Now, it does have some notes in there, especially in the base, that would lead one to believe that this one can be worn when the weather gets cold out there. However, I would not recommend that you wear this one in the dead of winter. I think this one is spring, summer, fall. Just stay away from the winter. I think this is a fragrance that can be worn dressed up and casually. I think casually because the price on this one is actually very fair, very affordable. And I would wear this one dressed up because there's a polished aroma about it. It sort of exudes class and sophistication, and I would recommend this one for dressed up scenarios. And as I mentioned earlier several times, I do find this one to be fairly unisex as well. Last up, in terms of the presentation, I love the simplicity of the presentation. I also love the podium. Everything about it looks really nice, and the gold accents with the white. My final verdict on this one is I love this fragrance. I will be encouraging my wife to wear this one more often because, like I said, it is marketed for women, but this is the fragrance that I will also sneak a spray from every once in a while. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was my review of Renaissance by Morreale Paris. If you own or have tried this fragrance or the men's counterpart Meridian, I would love to know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel to support this channel. I would really appreciate that. All you need to do is click that red button in the corner, and this way, whenever I do upload future fragrance-related content, it will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future videos, and that, of course, includes reviews just like this one, top 10s, giveaways, unboxings, interviews, special guests, and a whole lot of other fragrance related content. Thanks again for watching. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.